Hey, okay. Don't be alarmed. I'm not driving. I'm not making videos while I'm driving. I don't do that anymore. Just in the parking lot. Just finished my shift. I've got a meeting that I got to go to in about a half hour. Just waiting for my boss to show up. It's a monthly scheduled meeting. I'm not in trouble or anything. Not again. Anyway, as is custom for the first of the month, I'd like to do a top 10 or top 5. I wanted to revisit a subject that I feel could stand to be revisited. I've had a lot of new subscribers over the last year. Thank you all. Appreciate you. But I did put out a video, late 2015, I think late 2015, about smoking inside. And it was basically, a video showing off this new air filter. It was like an ozonator, and I know a lot of people have seen that video. But if you haven't, I may link to that in the bucket. But I wanted to discuss 5 decent strategies so that you could smoke in your house or smoke inside, here on the Derek Tant YouTube channel, we're equal opportunity people. But I would imagine that the majority of the people who are going to encounter trouble smoking inside are married men. Now, I know that there are plenty of female pipe smokers out there. I know there are, there's a lot more guy pipe smokers, and I would imagine that the most trouble that we're going to get are from your wife or your significant other who is not so keen on the pipe smoking hobby as you are. So this advice is universal, but I would imagine that the most typical situation is probably going to be dude smokes and significant other not a fan. So let's discuss a few strategies on how to get past that. We're gonna go 5 to 1 because that's the way I've got it written out here on my little post-it note. Number 5 is to cultivate a little understanding between you and your significant other. All right. Now, you should establish to your partner that pipe smoking is more than just, it's more than just puffing on tobacco. It is part of your routine. It is part of your relaxation. It is part of who you are and what you want to do. It helps with it helps with camaraderie, building friendships. It helps you relax. It helps you appreciate, all that good stuff. All the reasons that you like to smoke a pipe or a cigar, those reasons that are important to you, you need to make that apparent, and you need to make that, readily apparent to your partner. And another good way of doing that is to establish early in the relationship, if possible, that you are a serious pipe smoker. Now, when I met my wife, I lived in an apartment, and fortunately we were allowed to smoke. And I had a humidor out next to my chair. And so if she came over, she would see me smoking on a cigar or smoking on a pipe. So she knew early on that was important to me. And if you make that apparent to your partner that it is important, then it'll make it easier when it's time to continue smoking in the house. All right. So number 4 is to, have a place to smoke. Have a place that you want to smoke. Now, if you live in California or Florida or someplace that has good weather, well, then your space can actually be outside and problem solve. Maybe a covered deck, just to prevent you from, prevent precipitation. But, sometimes a garage or an extra bedroom or even your living room. Establish a place that you want to be able to smoke in. Some people have heated garages. Some people have a basement. When I first got married, and we had a spare bedroom in the back, and I went in there, and that's where I smoked. When I smoked, so just have a place in mind, all right, that you establish early as your place to smoke. All right, because I see a lot of guys now. It's wintertime. It's the dead of winter, and you don't have a place to smoke. You have to go outside on the porch, and you have to wait for semi decent weather for you to even go out and smoke. And I know you want to have a place to smoke inside. So let's see. All right, number three. Number three is your choice of tobacco. All right, now we are primarily, if you're on this channel, you probably smoke pipes or cigars or both. You might want to avoid the cigars and stick with pipe tobacco. And if you do smoke pipe tobacco, maybe smoke something that isn't stinky, that has a good room note. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to smoke an aromatic, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to smoke something that isn't Latakia. But a good aromatic, a high quality aromatic, or a good Virginia Perique that has a good, decent room note, won't stink up the joint, and something that tastes good to you, is probably your best bet. Save the cigars for when you can go outside, or for when you can go to like a cigar bar or a brick and mortar place. There are times when you can pick your battles. That's what I'm saying. When you're in the house, smoke something that ain't gonna smell. All right. Number two is to consider your environment. Now I know that a lot of what I'm saying is generally going to apply to people who own their own place. I mean, it's a lot of, if you're renting a house, if you're renting an apartment, there's a good chance that you're not going to be allowed to smoke. But some places do allow it. And so when that is not the issue, when the obstacle is your significant other or your family or that kind of problem, this is probably where this advice becomes applicable. So number two is to consider the environment. All right, let's talk about where you smoke, especially if it's like a common area. Smoke lingers in fabric. So carpets, couches, curtains. Those are the huge killers. Alliteration aside, if you can get tile floors, wood floors, leather couches, if you can kind of minimize what kind of curtains you have. Geez, what else am I saying? Yeah. If you have the ability to change those or make those kinds of choices, that will help with your need to smoke. At my house, we have leather couches, we have tile floors, and we have curtains, but there's no curtains on the windows at the moment. But when they are, it's like a single sheer. It's not a big deal, all right? So the smoke doesn't linger. It doesn't absorb into anything. And that brings us to number one, and this is probably the most important thing, is to establish some sort of ventilation or filtration system. Now, if you smoke in a spare bedroom, you could probably just get away with cracking a window and using a fan to suck it out. I know Cisco 76 used a system like that. In my house, I bought from Amazon an ozonator. It emits ions and ozone particles. The ions grab onto the smoke and pull them out of the air, and the ozone particles kill the smell. But it's got that electrical, that ozone smell, and that doesn't set well with everybody, and it's not supposed to be good for the lungs. Studies are mixed. But bottom line is it'll kill the odor in a room. So when I smoke in my living room, I usually wait for my wife to go to bed. I light up, I smoke, I turn on the filter. I can leave the room for 30 minutes. I turn on the ozone filter. It emits all the ozone. The place smells funny for a bit, but when it dissipates in just a few minutes, there is no tobacco smell. There's no smoke. There's no smoke smell. There's nothing. And there's no couches, there's no carpet, there's nothing for it to sink into. And sometimes I'll just like, I guess another thing for the environment is your clothes. You know, I guess I'm going back to number 2. You know, if you smoke and then go immediately to your significant other and you're wearing your smelly clothes, that may not bode well. So, I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts. Cultivate a little understanding. Establish early in the relationship that you are a smoker and that it is important to you. 4, have a place. You know, have a decent place and a place to smoke, and have it outfitted with what you need. 3, choose the right tobaccos. 2, consider your environment. You know, leather couches, carpets, curtains, clothes. Take care of all that. And number 1 is take care of some ventilation and filtration. That's it. Thank you for watching. Smell my beard.